All right, what's going on, guys? I'm Logan with West Desert Wheeler. We are back out here with the Gilamon. I told you guys in a previous video with this where it had fewer upgrades that I would bring it back upgraded and recrawl these lines and see how it compared. So that's what we're here to do today. Let's go see how it stacks up. All right, guys, so here is the Gilamon. This thing's got kind of a list of upgrades that's been done to it by now. Probably the biggest improvement is going to be the wheel and tire department with SL3D squid inserts in these big 2.2 Proline Super Swampers. These are the 5.8 tall Super Swamper, the XLs. And then it's got Spec RC Comp Cut 2.2s, which are a prototype. This is the second set of these that was made, I believe. So we're gonna see how this thing stacks up against the RTR wheels and tires that I had on this previously. And beforehand, I could never crawl this balanced. This car's a little too wide, which makes it stand up taller. And so I had to get all weird with it and get the car sideways to come through here. But what's cool is now we've got front and rear dig available from the transmission. You just have to add a servo and have an open 3-position channel, and now you can choose front and rear dig with your Axial Gilamon. It's inside your car already if you have one. You just have to add a servo for it. Yeah, I don't think we quite got far enough in how we wanted, so let's take a bit of a reset here. Essentially, last time I did this, I kind of had to drive as if I was going to drive up to the right. There we go. So for motor and ESC, I used to have a revolver in this thing, and it just didn't work out for this size of the car. And so now I have a Hobbywing Fusion, but I didn't get the Hobbywing Fusion 8. This is a standard Hobbywing Fusion Pro. 2300 kV, maximum of 3S. And so that's what we're using in this. So I'm probably gonna throw this guy in front wheel drive and see if we can set her down in here. We did this last time. We really had to battle our way through. But now I've got selectable front and rear only to help straighten this car out. So let's give it 4-wheel drive. I don't want to drive all the traction straight down on the rear. Yeah, I was a little concerned about this. So let's try and straighten this rear up. Okay, let's give her 4-wheel drive. We just need to get that roof clear. Oh, it's close. Let's lock the rear, give me some front only. There's a rock in the bottom of here, and I don't know if it's helping us out. Making these swampers earn it. There we go. Okay, we're looking pretty good here. There it is, finally got that roof out of the rocks. Kind of worked exactly how it did the first time. I was a little concerned with these bigger tires we'd actually not make it. And also in my first video, the car was still new, where a lot of people didn't own these yet. I mean, I got one early to make some content with. And so we just didn't know as much about the longevity of these vehicles. And so at this point, we've kind of found out a weak point on these is the short side axle shaft in these steer axles. Now I've got a steer axle front and rear. Axial makes a complete steering axle for these that you can buy as a kit, and then you can rear steer your Gilamon, which I'm a huge fan of. They made it super simple. You get an entire axle just ready to turn this thing into rear steer. So do a little front dig here, pull the front end out from under it so it's not dropping as steep. Go back to four wheel. This dig has been very reliable and easy to use. I'm actually gonna go back in the front dig. We've got Reefs micro servos for the ASD and the dig functionality on this car. So with my FlySky GT5, I'm using every channel available on this controller. So my ASD, I use the left knob up here. For rear steer, I use the right knob up top. For channel 3, that cycles through my rock lights. For channel 4, which is a 3-position switch, that's what I've got front dig on. Hello, Sydney. She's out here cruising around with us today, scoping out some lines. So far, I truly haven't seen that much of a difference on this set of obstacles between the car with a couple upgrades and the car now. As you can see here, it does have brass knuckles from Axial, brass portal boxes and covers. Yeah, let's get this thing to back up here. There we go. Sydney is panting. It is hot. It is a little bit cooler today. We're in the middle of July in southern Utah, so typically we're well into the 100 degrees. But today a storm rolled through and dropped us down to 90 or so. So decided to take advantage of the nice cool weather. Nice. An upgrade I just added to this today is D's bands, D's shock bands in the front. So it's got some elastic bands up front to help hold the nose down on steep climbs so the suspension doesn't unload on us. All right, on to the next ones. I've driven this line a ton of times, the 10th scale stuff, but I don't remember trying it with my Gilamon. It's just a nasty breakover, and I'm curious with this thing's size how it'll do and compare to others. That's pretty well what happens to most other cars, although this one's got a pretty good reach up on top of the ledge. Nice. Need that forward weight bias to give her some added traction here. All right, a little bit different than the others, but she made it up and out. Not too bad. All right, now this climb here is definitely one that I was curious if good tires would make the difference. I've also got these shock bands on the front. So let's see what we can make happen here. I remember having to throttle up into this. And already these tires are just proving that they've got more traction here. Gotta get that rear to really pinch and bite on and give us some traction. I mean, ideally we'd be able to climb that passenger front up, but it might not happen. So let's drop it to the front. Let's drop the front in. Really need to be able to get that rear to secure a good bite to really push this car from here. But that front right, the top of the tire starts getting into the rock and pushes it back, so you got to try and avoid that. Doing a rear only here. See if we can get anything to happen by using some of our tools available. Damn, this is really one I was hoping would work, but it's not seeming like it wants to do it today. So on the upgrades on the Gilamon, I am impressed at the brass weights in this. I think they got it just right. It's a big chunky brass. It's not over the top. I think it works well for this car. So I think it was tuned well from Axial. I also think the steering angle, whether it's plastic boxes or brass, is still excellent too. Like, you get good steering angle out of this car. And I think they just kind of got it right. So that's pretty cool to see. So let's give ourselves a front dig here. That's what we needed. You can see that D's band is just not letting that front left droop at all. It's a little bit too much, if I'm honest. I could talk with Dustin and maybe get a little more relaxed set. I mean, they are brand new. Maybe they just need to stretch out and relax a bit. Getting that rear through that bind like that can definitely upset the suspension, but forward weight bias kept us in control there. It's one of my favorite little obstacle bonuses out here. It's just such a cool shot. This thing looks awesome out here. Beautiful. I honestly don't expect this one to give us much trouble, but it just looks cool. I think the last time I ran through here was with my Pro MB1 chassis, which I did end up selling, so that car is no longer around. It was a really cool car, and apparently they stopped making them. I found that out after I sold it, and I was a little bit sad to hear that. That's a cool car. Oh, I had an MJ43, not an MB1. My apologies there. For front servo duty on this car, we've got a Reefs 1100, and that's just running off the BEC from the Hobbywing Fusion. In the original video, I said that new tires would be able to crawl that. Oh, don't spit me out now. Come on, that's not nice. They did crawl it, and then it spit me out. Little too much overdrive in this car. I put 10% underdrive portal gears in the rear. It's an option part. It was offered to me, so I decided to try it. I honestly want to take them out. I think it's too much. The 30% it comes with from the transmission out of the box is plenty. This thing's currently sitting at like 40%, and it's a lot. There's times where I need my rear tires to push more than they do. A little bit of wet sand down in here, so we may struggle for traction a bit on this one. We're not even getting up as high as we should be. That's how high we should be getting. Okay. There it is. There we go, get the belly up and out. A little bit of wet sand in the front. The swampers are chewing through it. But as of posting this, I've been a little slow on content lately. Apologies, it's just crazy hot down here. It's hard to get videos done. Winter time is when I really like to crawl out here. Once it's over 100 degrees, the fun level starts to go way down. It's just kind of more miserable at that point. Another thing people don't realize is when there's wet sand, the traction just disappears on these rocks. And truthfully, these rocks aren't even that wet. But like, it gets bad out here. There's just no traction. It's super difficult to get anywhere. That's something I would normally be able to crawl. Because the sand sticks to your tires and acts like little marbles. Oh, get out of there. Come on. Drop the front right in. Pull the car up. Yeah. Nice. Don't fall in that pocket. Sweet. She still made it. She had to fight for it, but she got her done. Here's a fun tent scale line I've played on before. I definitely have gotten an Axial SCX Pro up this. I think it was on portals at the time. So we're gonna see how the Gilamon does, and we're gonna see if we can go crazier with the Gilamon. Yeah, that first pull definitely went a lot easier than with the tent scale stuff. I wanted to see if I could somehow get up the next ledge. It's gonna be really tricky though, because the car doesn't fit. So we gotta figure out how to get it up there on the ledge, make it fit, and then see if we can wiggle our way around. Trying to get this thing to rotate. Floating a front tire would be ideal. That was a fun one. Kind of just I'm putting most of my focus on that right rear tire, on when and where to turn it. Fusion Pro just chugging. Yeah, maybe we could get that front left to bite on and then get the front end across. That's working. Don't really see a good outcome out of this, but we're gonna keep going and see what happens. Maybe. Well, let's see how good our dig is. Very little car movement when you engage or disengage dig, so that's been really helpful. Yeah, didn't work out for us that time. All of a sudden it just bit and drove up to the next ledge, but it wasn't looking great at that point. We'll hit a couple bonus lines over here I know about. Driven these on occasion with a couple of my rigs. One of the funnest parts about the Gilamon is the fact that it is just a different sized platform. So being wider and longer, bigger tires, it's going to hit different spots on the line. So you're going to get a different experience on the same terrain you have. And I'm about to drive off a cliff and die. So if you're looking for something to change up your area, or if you're bored of the lines you currently have, definitely look into a Gilamon. Not only that, these things are very capable. Like, they just perform good. Yeah, just that little tiny difference in the line put me exactly where I wanted to be that time. Get the belly clear. We'll just square up here. Right back to four wheel. I have noticed when the dig gets locked in it, because sometimes the ASD won't return it to four-wheel drive. Typically, if I just wiggle my front steering, it will take the bind out of the drivetrain and allow me to go back to four-wheel drive. Ooh, just perfect on the belly. That was nice. That worked out really good. That made that look easy. As So now we're gonna work our way over to another belly obstacle. And this is one where something with like a 13-inch wheelbase, you have to use rear steer and get the angle just right to get the reach, just to get the hook. This car is so much larger, I don't anticipate having to finesse it quite as much as I do on the tent scales. That little pocket where that front passenger tire is, it's exactly where the car needs to be to get a good bite. The overdrive is going to pull that front end tight, and then you're going to straighten up your tires in the front because that'll give you the most clearance on your belly. And then you can do small steering adjustments, but if you turn sharp, it's actually going to put the car on its belly harder. So we're just going to try and wiggle this thing around till we find where it wants to drive up. All right, we're going to give this one more go. I can see rubber at the bottom of this wall. I've been chewing up the tires a good bit. What happens if we try and scoot our car further to the right? I don't know that it'll give us the clearance we need. Come back, Gilamon. Whoops. This one is part of my risk trail. Great obstacle out here. Super fun rock formation. I've driven a lot of different stuff up through here. But, oh, I don't know, a year or maybe two ago, there used to be a big rock that sat on top of this little notch. And I never knew this line was here until someone in a real buggy knocked it out of the way, which exposed the rock formation underneath, which is actually really challenging and a lot of fun. Try not to dig holes down in the bottom. It's not going to help our cause here at all. Ooh, nice. Nice. Took a little finesse there. That worked out. Pretty quick work on that, honestly. I've struggled on this one a lot. It's not a line that I've driven that long. That worked out. Ugh. Well guys, that's going to be the Gilamon for us today. We've taken quite a few L's, but we've been really pushing the limits on this thing, trying some very difficult obstacles. These cars are incredibly fun. I really do recommend picking one up. I'll have an affiliate link down below if you choose to do so, and you're buying online. Always support your local shops. My local shop is Sky RC Hobby Shop here in St. George, Utah. Shout out to Cody over there. He'll get you taken care of if you're in the area. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. We will catch you in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.